Today on Video Mojo, we're going to be talking to a 62-year-old TV commercial director who has become a phenom on TikTok. Not only has it reawakened a new career path for her, it also has enlivened herself, and she says is a way for all of us, no matter what our age is, to age more gracefully, more creatively, and more socially. She also shares with us tips about how you can create content on TikTok and other social media more easily, and underscores what I think is a fundamental factor, which is fun. And how, when you're having fun doing content, not only do you do more of it, you actually enjoy the journey. I really think it's an enlightening episode of Video Mojo. Enjoy. Welcome, Helen Polise, to Video Mojo. It's great to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
You're another example of somebody who I met through TikTok, and I think TikTok is underrated as a social platform, and it was also nice to see somebody more or less from my generation really playing big. You're coming up on a
Yeah.
million followers now on TikTok, and you're teaching people these fundamentals. So how did you get into TikTok and take on this mission of helping those of us who may not be so TikTok savvy to have fun
Okay.
and enjoy the platform?
Sure thing. Well, with a lot of people having things happen during the pandemic where work was slow and they found themselves with time on their hands, I was one of those people. I didn't have any production, so I was like, oh, how am I going to feed my creativity? So I had already been doing Instagram, and I decided, my daughter said, "What, you should get on TikTok." And I was like, ah, yeah, I'll try that. Boom, download the app. And I started doing things which is not what I'm doing now. I was baking in my kitchen, I was sharing recipes with my family and friends. And then I slowly grew a following over there, which got pretty significant into the, 30,000 and 70,000 followers. And then one of my followers noticed I was doing a lot of production tricks in my videos, my recipe videos. And I had always been nervous to speak on TikTok. I was like, no, I'll dance around the kitchen and I'll show the recipes, but I was nervous to start talking. And she asked me to how I did a certain effect. And when I showed her, I said, I'll make you a tutorial. And I just kind of, as a piece of content, made a tutorial, and I had to talk and I had to explain, this is how you do it. And I showed with I actually did have a stylus at the time, and I showed her, you point to this and you press that and you do this and you do that. And I blew up overnight. It was crazy. Somebody in the comments said, our TikTok teacher is here. And I was like, that's it. I'm the TikTok teacher. And I never looked back. I really just started creating tutorials after that. Still doing my other things, but I just abandoned the kitchen and I moved into the teaching classroom. It's really
And you
funny.
made a strategic. There are a couple of things about that I want to ask you. You made a strategic decision
Yeah.
to create a separate channel as a TikTok teacher. And for those of you who want to follow her, it's at the Mother Muther ship, right? The mothership
Exactly.
with a U.
Exactly.
And but I just discovered the other day that you have a cooking channel still that's separate. Why did you decide
Okay.
to separate them rather than merge them?
At the time, when I started on TikTok, I kept hearing people talk about like you have to be in your niche and you have to only make videos in your niche. So it's actually the opposite, John. I had the recipe videos on my channel, and then I started doing tutorials, and I had my family, and all this stuff was on the mothership. And I was like, I should put the recipes on a separate video, because some on a separate channel, because some people were saying, if you want to do recipes, you have to keep, you have to keep it separate. So I had made that channel prior, and it really never took off because it was right around the time where I started doing tutorials. And so I just kind of abandoned the whole kitchen idea, and I really leaned into being the TikTok teacher, and I just left that behind. It was also very timely because my work picked up, so I didn't have time to be in the kitchen baking. And those videos do take time when you're doing a baking video. It was a lot more labor intensive. So I just didn't have time to do those anymore. So it was serendipity, just the way it happened. And I never really went back to that channel. I was going to delete it, that kitchen channel that I created. So it was actually the kitchen channel that was created second. And then I decided to forget about it.
But the other thing that you just illustrated, I think, brilliantly is you were willing to get out there and play and experiment, and
Oh,
out
yeah.
of the experimentation, you became the TikTok teacher. Is
Oh,
that,
yes. And
say more about that, because I think a lot of people need encouragement just to get out and play and experiment and see what happens.
yes, I always tell people to follow your path because you don't know where you're going to end up. You might start doing one thing and end up doing another. I don't even know if you're aware that I have a video where I was like, oh, I'm going to clean my refrigerator one day. And I was like, oh, I should teach people this because my refrigerator repairman taught me you could use Pledge wood cleaner on your refrigerator. I made this TikTok that has 2 million plus views. And it's me just cleaning my refrigerator with Pledge and selling. And it's like I'm dancing and I'm cleaning like the dancing cleaning lady. And that exploded. So it's like, you don't know what you're gonna hit on and what you're gonna be relatable to for other people. So I just don't I had say just try anything. You don't know what the thing is gonna be. I never thought I'd be teaching how to do TikTok. I really didn't. It was not something I set out to do. I didn't plan for it. It just happened by by random chance, just because I was having fun. And I think that's the key. I always tell people, you have to have fun because people will
You
grab
have to
onto
have
someone.
fun.
People want to be around people who are fun. That's a fact. We all know it, right?
Hmm.
In life and on
100%.
TikTok.
Yeah, and that story, I just completed Ali Abdal's YouTube part-time YouTuber Academy, and he was the same story. He started out making videos for medical students about how to study, and ended up being like this productivity guy who's now like a master YouTube guy, and he just did the same thing. He followed his path, and I'm doing that too. I'm trying to see where it leads. So,
You just got to see where
and
it goes. You never know. You never know. As long as you're having fun doing it, you'll continue to have traction and you'll continue to be excited to show up. That's the big thing. It's like if it's feeding you somehow, you will continue to do it. And I always call myself the relentless, like, I'm like poke, poke, poke. I will put something out there, put something out there. And if nobody pays attention to it, I'll try something else. I'm never afraid to just keep going and I don't look back and I don't overanalyze. Oh, I wonder why nobody liked that video. Whatever. I'm making a new video. You know what I mean? So I'm
that's
always
really
moving forward.
important.
It
Yeah,
is
and
really
your
important.
your your success really underscores that. So let's talk about the age thing because I think that
Okay.
it's part of what attracted me to you is that oh my God, I'm learning about TikTok tricks and tips, which are really good and thorough and very specific, but I'm not learning it from a 20 something, which is where I would
Mm,
expect to be learning. I'm learning from a 60 something. You've shared that with me, early 60s.
yes.
She's a young 60. Um, you know, people don't expect that. So how did you end
No.
up breaking the mold and kind of being who you are in terms of not a teenager, not a 20 something?
Yes. So interesting story is that my background is in production. You know that I direct TV
Video,
commercials for my day
right.
job. Before that, I was producing. So I have a production background. So I will say I had an edge because when you produce commercials versus movies and shows, when you produce commercials, you have to tell a story in 30 seconds. And then sometimes you have to tell that story in 15 seconds. And guess what? TikTok is started out as a 15-second platform. So I had a major advantage in knowing how to put together content in 15 seconds. So number one, I would look at people's videos and I'd say, oh, I know how that was done. I'd see these cool transitions where they rip the shirt and it disappears. And I was like, I know how that's done because I've been in edit rooms my whole life. I've worked on special effects for commercials. So I understood it immediately and I was able to do it. And then that's when people were asking me, oh, how did you do that? So I said, oh, I'll make a tutorial. But because I had to learn how to do it on the digital platform, I was sitting in edit rooms and editors were doing it, but I understood it. But I had to teach myself how to do it on TikTok. And then when I taught myself that, I have a certain way of learning that's visual. And I was like, I can use the way I learn to teach. And that's how I break it down. So I think number one, I have a teacher mentality or a teacher persona that helps me. And I have young people that follow me. I know that it's a big thing where I have a lot of older followers because they're like, I'm finally learning TikTok and it's from someone my age. Yeah, go girl. But I have kids that are in their 20s that are like, did my mom just teach me TikTok? And then some will really go for the insult. And did my grandma just teach me TikTok? And I'm like, oh, slow down. I'm not with
Hey,
your
being
grandma
a
yet. But
grandparent is not an insult. I'm going to say that personally.
oh, no,
I'm
I'm sure
proud
it
of
is
being a
not.
grandpa.
I'm positive I'm going to enjoy that chapter. I'm absolutely positive. And my grandkids are going to think I'm damn cool. So there's
Absolutely.
going to be that. Yeah. So, but I really I enjoy it. And I feel like when some of these kids come in and they'll say, if you taught me calculus, I'd be in a whole different place right now because of the way I explain. And that just makes me feel so good. And I haven't felt the need to make money on TikTok initially because I was just so excited to be helping people. So it's just interesting how I don't know the response. You would think, okay, yes, it's all my peers, and my peers are like, yeah, power, respect, but also the young people. I walked into a shoot yesterday, and I'm the TikTok expert. I was the oldest person on set because they were bringing me in as the TikTok director, and it was just really cool because I know heads turned like that's the TikTok expert, because I'm older than all of them. So it was kind of cool. I love that.
And you told me before we started recording that your career has changed. You're a commercial
Yeah.
director, as in traditional
Yes.
TV commercials, but now
hmm
your TikTok expertise is creating a new avenue for you as a director. Is that correct?
It is creating a slightly different path. And I always say, again, I'm going to follow the path wherever it leads. So I still direct commercials. I work on Sensodyne. I do a lot of testimonial interview style work because I really love to interview people. And it's really fun to be on the other side of that too, John, by the way, to be interviewed. But and I try and be mindful of what I think about as an interviewer when I'm answering questions now. So my path was always, yes, I'm on the shoot, I'm leading the shoot. But now, because people know of my expertise, a lot of my clients and a lot of my colleagues follow me obviously on the platform, and they're like, we need a TikTok expert on this shoot. So I already have contacts in the business, and so now other directors see me and they're like, could you help me? I need to have TikTok shot while I'm shooting the commercial. And I'm saying, yeah. So now I have almost like made created a new role where I'll walk in while they're shooting the commercial. I'm sort of lurking behind the scenes. I know exactly when not to get in the way, when to get in the way, when I can kind of say, hey, I need to just get the shot quick before you move on. So I understand the dynamics of a set and how a shoot works. And I'm the perfect person to walk in and just do my thing quietly, get the shots. And then I sit and edit at lunchtime and I show them the TikToks and they're like, what? And then after that, they let me run the whole day by myself. Do whatever you want to do. We love what you're doing. So
Fantastic.
it's really
That's
fun.
really
It's really
cool. So the other thing that I can't let you go without talking to you
fun.
about is kind of like frequency, or cadence, if you will, in terms of your
hmm
production. So a lot of people, one of the things that I'm learning and still trying to develop my practice is to be consistent. Ali
Yes.
Abdaal says consistency is table stakes. It's kind of like it's not sufficient. You have to do a lot more, but you do need to be consistent. So how often do you post, and how long does it take you to post that often?
Okay, I will tell you that I am one of these commitment to myself people. And when I decide something, I do it. So when I started on TikTok and I started to get traction, I decided that I was going to post something every day. Now, some days I have multiple ideas and I have a lot more time. So I'll post sometimes two things a day. And then sometimes I'll get ahead of it and I'll shoot a couple of tutorials for that days when I'm busy and I need to post something. But I post every day. And I will say the only time I stopped posting, we don't know if you want to touch on this, was when I had cancer and I was blind for 2 weeks. So before I was diagnosed with cancer, I started to lose my eyesight back in June 2022. And for that 2 week period, I couldn't see my phone. I couldn't, I was having withdrawal. It was really tough because this was like a major part of my life, being able to communicate and post things. And when I was diagnosed, well, first, when I was going blind and they couldn't figure out what the problem was, I was terrified that I was actually going to be living the rest of my life blind. So that was a rough time. And so for that 2 week period, I couldn't get content out. And so my daughter came to visit after 2.5 weeks when I was going through doctor's appointments, and she helped me because I was still recording. I turned the phone on every day, tried to figure out where the record button. I had my husband recording me sometimes, or I'd have him press the record button. Am I in the frame? And I finally learned how to get it set up so that it would automatically be in selfie record mode. So all I have to do was hear the boop, and then I knew I was recording myself. And I documented those 2 weeks, even when I was blind. And I just never knew if I would share it. But I thought I need to do this for myself because this is what I do. I document. That's to stay consistent. You have to work the content into your life. So if I'm going to something and I'm too busy to shoot a TikTok that day, I say I'm recording session, and today we're shooting such and whatever it is I'm doing for work. I'll just document it. And that's the key, is keeping your content in your daily life so that you can fit it in and it doesn't become like, now I have to do this extra chore. It's just a day is busy. Okay, I'm going to document my walk to a place and I'm going to show the sights that I see on the way to the place that I'm going. So it's working that content into your life. And then, like I said, after that 2.5 week period, just to circle back to that, my daughter edited my videos that I was shooting when I was blind. And we released like a 7 minute documentary of that 2.5 week period where I was diagnosed with lymphoma. And we released a 7 minute, I'll call it a little mini doc video onto our TikTok first, and it exploded and people were so supportive, and I gained a whole different type of follower who wanted to be taught about cancer at that point. So it's
Although
really an
it must have
interesting.
been smaller segments because it said you can't do it. At least at that point, you couldn't do a 7-minute video on
Yeah, I
TikTok.
could. In June I was up to 10-minute videos by then. I had
I
that
see.
feature back about a year ago. I've had
Nice,
that feature. The thing, I
nice.
think a lot of these things are given, if you have traction on your longer videos, if people are watching your videos all the way to the end, I think that's how I got an advantage of getting that feature a little bit sooner, because the algorithm can see whose videos are getting watched longer. Oh, they should get a 3 minute option. They should get the 10 minute option. So I think that's how I got the 10 minute option pretty early. So I was able to release that.
So
But I did, yeah, I did find that funny that so many people watched a long video on TikTok.
if it's
But
good, then they'll
I'm a
watch it.
storyteller by nature, and I do storytelling videos. So I created my own story pretty efficiently. And
Beautiful.
yeah, it's
Well, good. I'm so glad that you seem to be so healthy and vibrant, and
I'm good.
we're able to get the lymphoma under control. And
Yes, it is.
it's certainly, a fabulous asset that you are that kind of commitment person that you just mentioned, that you kept going even when you had cancer and were blind for a couple of weeks.
Yes,
Uh,
terrifying.
but that's a commitment that a lot of people have trouble, including me, just like to take it on. How much time would you say that even with the technique you just talked about of folding it into the flow of your life, is it an hour a day? Is it more or less?
No, I would even say less. Yesterday, I was filming all day. I was on set from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. I didn't have any time to do a TikTok. I was like, this is, I even shot some things, but I couldn't. A lot of times you're on these shoots and you're not allowed to share what's happening because it's like proprietary until it's released. So I couldn't really release who I was shooting with, and I had some, some talent that was fun to that I could have shared. But I said, oh gosh, you know what? I'll do a quick CapCut template. And there's a solution for everything. If you don't have time, you don't even have to be in the video. You can actually find these little templates, put a little title on it, and you can release a video. You don't even have to take time to shoot something. There's something in your phone that you could use. I trust. I assure you. So yesterday I set up my camera on a little ledge and I just shot a shot of me walking into the set. But I said people probably think, what am I doing? And I made a little CapCut template. Like it was a really cute one where people heads were turning and they were like, who is this person coming to the set? They the least likely to be the TikTok teacher, because I was the oldest person walking in. So it was a quick idea that I had, and I think it's just continuous creativity and just working it out, like knowing that there's easy ways to make content when you don't have time. So I do share that in a weekly email, by the way. I don't know if you're on that, John, but I send out a weekly email
No,
with trend
not. So
ideas
where
and
would people
content. Yeah,
subscribe if they want that?
it's awesome.
So is it
So my
mothership.com? I
website
think
is
that.
hello social. No, that's my commercial directing site. I have a teaching website, which is hellosocialize.com. And that is where you can sign up for the creative forecast. That's my weekly email. It goes out every Monday and it gives you 3 original content ideas, just ideas that you can work with in your own way. 3 trends, and they're usually quick ones that you could execute easily when you're short on time. And then I put in there music suggestions. I share sometimes like, here's some updates to TikTok. Here's some updates that happened on Instagram if you're not aware. So I send that every week, and it's free. Just get on there. And my platform is where I have workshops that are free. Soon I'll be starting some premium content on there, but for now, everything is completely free.
So I'm really
I'm
interested
building a
in the
nice
business model,
audience.
but it's hello, HELLO,
Hello,
socialize,
socialize.
IZE, right?
Yes,
.com.
yes, yes.
Great. So yeah, subscribe. I will subscribe, I
I'll put you
promise.
on the email list for sure.
So, so one of the things that I think a lot of people don't know is all of the features and effects that are inside the TikTok app. And you just mentioned CapCut, which is another video app in case people don't know. What are your favorite app tricks? Do you recommend that people try and stay within the TikTok app as much as possible? Do you use the captions app? I haven't really noticed you do a lot with captions. So
I
what,
do have
how,
captions on all my videos. Okay, so let's talk about that. I would always, so my, because of my content is tutorials and sometimes it's longer format, in order to record and stop in the app is really debilitating. So I'd rather put my camera, turn it on, roll the whole teaching lesson, and then I edit it later in an app like CapCut where I just cut it together. And then I upload it to TikTok. But if I'm doing a trend where I need to be lip syncing to the music, or I'm doing some kind of a dance thing where I want to dance to the music, I'll shoot right in TikTok. And then when I'm doing there's often templates that are trending where you can just tap on the template and it takes you into CapCut and you just put your shot in and it makes your magic right there for you. So there's very easy ways to create content quickly. But I will say, I don't think it matters if you shoot in your phone camera or in the app. To me, the engagement happens when people save your videos. That is your highest level of engagement. If someone saves it to favorites or sends it to someone else, that's when your videos will more likely have an opportunity to go viral, more than comments and more than likes. That's my
yeah, I've
that's
been
my
really
experience.
I've been touched by that. Yeah, I've noticed that too. That I'm moved by how many people will save a video to favorites.
Hmm.
I get virtually no comments. I mean, it's really kind of
Crazy.
interesting, but I have had videos take off and had many people saving to favorites, which I think is what
That's
helps
what
them
it
take
is. That's
off.
what it is.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
you're actually editing on your phone. CapCut is mobile only, right?
My phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there's a reason I edit on my phone, and a lot of people go, "Why don't you edit on your laptop?" I have this nice fancy laptop. To me, editing on my laptop is then work because that's where my commercial work. A lot of times, I'll have to do things on my laptop. I want to have it in the phone if I'm waiting online, if I'm driving in the car, if I'm laying in bed, I'm laying on the couch, and I'm watching something that I'm half interested in. I can be editing while I'm just relaxed, and that becomes more like a fun thing versus a work thing. The minute it goes into my laptop, it's a bigger project in my head. I'm going to look at it more microscopically. I'm going to maybe over edit it. This way, I just quickly just power it out. I just think that's the strategy, personally.
and CapCut
Just
is your go-to app.
that's my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will be honest, I also use iMovie, but I hesitate to say iMovie because a lot of people don't know the right way to use iMovie. You have to twist your video so that, and you have to edit with it in like sideways and then you have to twist it back when you export. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a little square video. It's going to look so dumb. So I get nervous to recommend that to people because nobody's going to remember that step, and they're all going to end up with little square videos, and I'm going to look like the idiot that recommended it. So CapCut, you can edit vertically. You don't have that extra step, and it's a nice
and
way to operate. I have a
that's your
lot of
go-to
those.
app.
Yeah.
The one technical question that I want to follow up on is that you said that you use trending templates in
Hmm.
CapCut, but
Yeah.
those are TikTok trending templates, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely right.
how does that crossover between CapCut and
Well, first
TikTok
of
work?
all, TikTok and CapCut are both owned by the same parent company. The big scheme of things. But
See,
so a
that's what I
lot
didn't
of the
know.
yeah, a lot of the you'll see a lot of videos that will come up over and over again on your For You page where you have like John Cena dancing. I don't know, that's the one that's hot right now. He's like dancing. So those templates are created in CapCut by creators, and then when they go and pick up virality on TikTok, you can actually look at them and you see them again and again, and it says try this template above the username on the person's video, and you just tap it, and it takes you right into CapCut. It teaches add your shot, click export, click, and you have a video. It takes literally 5 seconds to make a video that way. So that's why I say there's no excuse. If people say, I can't post every day, that's because you're not posting smart. You're making it too difficult for yourself because you can always find something to do every day. It's not that hard.
I think that's a great takeaway. And I'm learning from the mothership. It's at the
There you
mothership,
go.
by the way, with MUTH. And Helen, you're a force of nature. And I love the
I
fact
am.
that you are having fun. And that, I really think that that
Awesome.
is key, as you said. And
Hmm.
you live it. And I enjoy your videos. And I appreciate your insights right
Thank
now.
you.
And of course, all the time on TikTok. And thanks for taking the time. Anything else you want to close with, or you think people should know, or, a
I think
closing
you should
thought?
know that. Yeah, my closing thought is that a lot of people think, oh, I don't look right. I can't be on camera. I'm too old, or whatever their issues are with their face. I mean, I can overanalyze things on my face till the cows come home. But if you realize that you have valuable things to add for someone in someone's life, and if you can just disregard your own judgment of yourself and put yourself out there, you're going to help somebody. You really are. There's a woman I follow. She's 82 years old. She's incredible. She lives in an assisted living and she has a TikTok following of 600,000 something now. And I'm friends with her. She would never be able to befriend me in life. When would we ever cross paths? She lives in a place she's not even mobile. And I just think that the opportunity for us to be social as we get older is the world is our oyster. It's just like what you make of it. So I just think it's a beautiful place to not deny yourself. Jump in, have fun. No one's
I love
judging you
it.
except you. You're the only one judging you.
That's right. You're the only one holding yourself back. Yeah, and
It's
it
true.
really is fun. So I think it's keeping us all alive. I feel more vibrant and kind of
So
more engaged in life because I'm playing
good.
in this
I feel
wonderful
so
video
relevant.
playground.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's relevance in a world where young people are always more relevant because they know this and they know that. And now we are equally as relevant to the young people. Potentially yesterday I was more relevant because I went into that shoot and I was teaching the young people how to do it. I was showing them on my phone and they were like, "Wow, you're amazing." So it's so cool. It just really helps. I think it's going to help ageism overall because we're going to see people who are successful in technology at any age. And I think that speaks volumes to the universe.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for modeling that. And thank you so much for taking the time to be on Video
Thank
Mojo. And
you.
I'm so happy to meet you. And I hope we can do more in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. You're awesome.
If you enjoyed this episode of Video Mojo, you might want to check out this episode where I talk to another TikTok influencer who is also a marketing professional, not only about TikTok marketing, but about Chat GPT. I actually met Aaliyah Finkelstein on TikTok when I duetted her video about the Chat GPT super hack. We got into that and a whole lot more. Check it out.